If you need any My Team grinds in any mode, hit up my boy Witty for safe, reliable, and the cheapest grinding services around. Hit him up on Twitter. You won't be disappointed. Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're ranking the best pink diamond cards in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM here on this tier list. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 40,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day. Multiple videos a day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. So we are looking at a like 48, I'd say, pink diamonds, I think, on this list. And so we're gonna go through these pretty quickly, but I think I got pretty much all the good ones on here. If I forgot one, I apologize. Leave a comment. I'll let you know where I'd put them. But starting with Dikembe Mutombo, unfortunately, he's going to go in the D tier. Rest in peace to Dikembe, but he is not super fast and he can't really shoot. I get that he is a very good inside big, but I don't think he's that great in all honesty. And we're looking at, again, these are the best of the pink diamonds. So if you're not that good, you're going to go pretty low on the list. That's just how it is. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander feels like an A tier card to me. I don't think he's the best pink diamond point guard or the second best pink diamond point guard, but he might be the third best pink diamond point guard. He is a very good card still with a nice jump shot, solid finisher around the rim, and slasher. I like his movement. Defensively, he's not bad. He's got good size. I'm a fan of the card. Dr. J is S tier, obviously, still the best shooting guard in the game. Him and his Dark Matter, which play the exact same. This card has unbelievable longevity and is just an elite level option in every sense of the word. Incredible shot creator, incredible release, all that type of stuff. Like he's been the best card in the game pretty much since the day he came out, and will be until they drop a better version or something. I mean, they haven't dropped a better card yet. So Zach LaVine, I think, does get the S tier spot. There's two S tier point guards at Pink Diamond, I think, and one of those two is Zach LaVine. He's just money jumper, decent, not great movement. His dragback's elite. The rest of his sigs aren't top tier, but he's an incredible slasher, and honestly, defensively, he's better than you'd think as well. Overall, really solid card, and I think he's S tier. Chris Middleton, stats and batters aren't terrible, but the honest truth is his jumper's not that good at the shooting guard position. He doesn't really have a ton of movement. Like, he's just not all that good overall. So hey, I think he's C tier. It's the honest truth at this point. Paul George, still really good card. Still probably a top 10 shooting guard in my team. Nice jump shot. Okay, but not great movement. Off the dribble, I mean, he's not bad at all, though. Jumper's nice, and obviously he's an elite level slasher. Good size, or great size, actually, at shooting guard, and a nice defensive card as well. Really good card still. I think he's A tier. Franz Wagner is not quite going to get S tier anymore. If I'm only putting two guys from each position or so in the S tier, I do not think Franz Wagner is now the second best pink diamond shooting guard. I think there's a better one, but he is going to go A tier for sure. Really, really good card. Does deserve to be A tier. He's 6'10" still. Honestly, you could make the argument for S tier if you wanted to. The movement's nice, 6'10" frame, solid defender, all that type of stuff. But his jumper does get some load ups and stuff, which can be a little bit annoying. I think A tier at this point is probably right, but he's still really, really good. Ron Artest, elite defender, just a slightly better version of Paul George. He's got a better fade than PG does. Slightly better defense, I would say, as well. But similar jump shot, similar slashing, and similar movement as well, in all honesty. So I think Artest at A tier is totally fair, and he's not quite S, but he's really, really good. John Stockton is a 6-foot point guard who cannot dunk and does not have god tier sigs. And when you are that small, you can't finish around the rim and you don't have amazing sigs at this point in the year, that just does not make you a very good card. I think D tier is the right spot for him. Embiid is still, I think, good enough at the power forward position to be argued as A tier. I mean, I just think, and honestly, he can play center as well, but he's got enough speed. His jumper's nice. I think he's a solid card. I do think he probably still deserves the A tier, although it's getting a little closer. Akeem is still also going to be A tier to me. I don't think he's quite S tier anymore either. I might have a smaller S tier than some of these other tiers, just because I don't think that these cards are like super duper elite. But I think Akeem is definitely still solidly A tier for sure. He's a good defender. His jumper's nice. A lot to like about the card for sure. So I think overall A tier is probably right. Tyrese Halliburton is going to go C tier at this point. He's 6'5". His stats and batters are okay, but he was season 2 level 40, and he was all right for his time. At this point, I probably would recommend against the card, though. I think C tier is the right spot for him. Larry Bird is trash. I just cannot stand this card. I don't know why. His jumper really gets on my nerves. He has no movement. He just doesn't feel fast. He doesn't feel smooth. He doesn't feel easy to use on either end of the court, especially offensively. He's just like, he feels clunky. And his jumper's clunky, and he's not super athletic. And it's just, again, he gets every badge. On paper, he looks like he should be pretty good, but I just don't think he is. I think he plays very poorly. I'm not a fan of this Larry Bird card at all. Big Z. Big Z is, I think you could argue A tier. I think you definitely could. The 69 speed is his biggest flaw, and he is missing some badges, even fully badged, but his jumper's money and he's 7'3". I think, I don't know, B tier feels weird to me. You could definitely make the argument for A tier and I wouldn't be mad at you, but I think I'm going to go B tier. I might even wind up moving down one or two of these cards from A tier. We'll see. But I think Big Z is going to be our first B tier entry because of the mediocrity of his speed, basically. Sean Kemp is also going to go B tier. I'd rather have a Keeman and Beat at the power forward position. I do think Kemp is decent though. He's got good speed. His jumper's not bad. He's very good very good slasher, of course, very good finisher around the rim. I think B tier is probably the right spot for him. He's a good card. And honestly, so is Eddie Jones. Another solid card, not quite as good as his A tier counterparts, but gets the job done at a solid level, kind of does everything at least decently at the shooting guard position. And I think Eddie Jones, another very, very solid card. Gonna go Greg Oden in A tier as well. Same tier as Akeem and Embiid. I mean, he's only center eligible, but I will say at center, he's a beast. He's jumper's smooth. He's a very good finisher around the rim, and he plays really, really big as well, which is one of the things that I like about this Odin card. I just think he's really, really good at the center spot. Outside of basically the top couple centers in the game, I think Odin is a beast, and I got him A tier. I think that McAdoo does go S tier. I'd take him over Akeem, Embiid, guys like that at the power forward position. He's 90-something speed with a absolutely fast jump shot, like just cash money jumper with really great speed, dunking, and defense. He is the perfect archetype for power forward at this point in the year, and I think S tier is totally fair. Yao Ming is just too slow and too limited as a shooter to be higher than C tier at this point. I think I had him in B tier the last time I did this tier list, but now at this point, I think he has to go down in C. I just think his speed is a little bit of a limiting factor. He's not on the same tier as Big Z, that's for sure. And I think C tier is probably the right spot for him. Shaq, kind of like Dikembe Mutombo, is just a pure inside, and I'm sorry, pure inside at this point in the year are not going to be any higher than D tier, and that's the honest truth of Shaq. Can't shoot the ball at all. He's going to go in that D tier. Obviously, Wemby is right at the top of the S tier with Dr. J. Best pink diamond cards in the game right there. His jumper is incredible. So hard to contest. He's such a glitchy card. Really, really good option in my team. I got to speed up. We're not even halfway through this video yet. James Harden. Look, the honest truth about Harden is he's not elite defensively and his SIGs suck. I mean, offensively, he's fun. His jumper's money, but his SIGs are not good, and he's not good defensively. I think C tier is the right spot for him. Terry Dishinger is going to get an S tier spot for me. I love that card. I think he's basically a Rudy Gay clone. His jumper's money. He's an elite slasher. He's got legit movement. One of the best small forwards in my team. Scottie Pippen, great defender, smooth jumper, 6'8", but does not have much of anything off the dribble at all. I think B tier at this point is probably fair for him because he does have some limitations on the offensive end of the court. Trae Young is obviously D tier. Card is terrible, just like John Stockton, undersized and can't finish. He's even worse defensively than Stockton is, though, to be honest. His movement's nice, his fade is nice, but he's still D tier, that's for sure. I think Draymond at this point probably goes C tier. I don't hate the card, but I don't love the card either. I just think his jumper's not that good. He's a little bit undersized. Doesn't really have much in terms of movement. Defensively, he's nice, but I still think C tier is probably right at this point. Kelly Tripucka is probably second best pink diamond shooting guard in my team after Dr. J. Elite release and elite movement really makes him a great offensive card, and defensively, he is good enough to hold it down as well. I would take him over guys like Ron Artest, Paul George, and Franz Wagner because of how elite he is movement and jump shot wise. So I think for Kelly, it slides into that S tier as well. Adam Morrison is going to go A tier, but I have no issues with him at all in that A tier. I think you could argue S if you wanted to. I think offensively, he's really nice. His jumper's improved this year. Overall, very solid card, but I would rather have a couple of other pink diamond small forwards, so we're going to go with him in the A tier. KP is going to get the other S tier center spot after Victor Wembanyama. KP is a dog, elite jump shot, 7'2", plays good defense, card is nice, does a lot of things really, really well. Nikola Jokic, I'm sorry, you're going in that D tier. Nikola, he's not good defensively, really. His jumper's kind of meh, he's kind of slow. He's just not. There's nothing that you actually really like about this card, to be honest. I don't see a single thing about this card that I actually particularly like at this point. I think C tier's fair. I got no issues with that at all. And LaMelo's going to go B, in all honesty. I think he's a tier below a guy like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think there's a couple of other cards as well coming up on this list who are better than him at the point guard position. Although I am realizing right now, when I look at this list, I forgot one specific point guard, and that is Cade Cunningham. My mistake. If y'all ask where Cade is, Cade deserves to be S tier. I'm sure I'll get comments asking where he is anyway, but I think he's an S tier PG, whereas guys like, I think Cade and Levine are S tier, guy like SGA's A tier, and then LaMelo, he just doesn't have the movement. I think he's B tier. Rudy Gay, S tier as well with Terry Dishinger. Those are my two favorite options at the small forward position in the game pretty easily out of all the pink diamonds. They're basically the same card. Rudy's just a little bit bigger, but they're both incredible with the same jump shot and same SIGs. Like, they're elite cards. Larry Hughes goes B tier with LaMelo. The honest truth about Larry Hughes, very good defensively, fast jumper, Not great movement in all honesty. The only movement he has that's nice is his drag back, but I think defensively he's good enough, and size wise and all that type of stuff, he is absolutely good enough to be a B tier card for sure. Kareem, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, put in B tier as well because of that 7'2" build. His jumper can be a little inconsistent in terms of a lower 3-ball rating and not the best shot, but he's so big and he can't hit the 3-ball wide open that I think he's still B tier. I still think he's pretty usable. Devin Booker is more of an A tier point guard than LaMelo to me. Just better SIGs, better offense overall, better fade. And they're similar defensively. I think I lean Booker as the better card, so Booker gets A and LaMelo gets B. Magic is C at this point. Not a fan of the card. He's just not particularly good at anything besides being tall. It's the honest truth. I think he's C tier. Kyle Korver, incredible shooter. That's really mainly it. He's not horrible defensively though. He can kind of hold his own at this point. If he's badged, he's not bad. And his jumper truly is like, he's the best shooter in the game, I think, off the catch and shoot. He's so good. So because of that jump shot being as good as he is, and because he's not a total liability anywhere else, I think he's a B tier guy. Connie Hawkins is going to go A tier, and honestly could even be argued as S tier. He's right there with a guy like Adam Morrison at the small forward position, where jumper is really, really nice. Defensively, he's elite. I think Adam Morrison's, or sorry, I think Connie Hawkins is legitimately a very good card. One of the more slept on pink diamonds in my team. Giannis Antetokounmpo. I would rather have Akeem and Embiid at power forward than pink diamond Giannis, but I don't think I'd rather have them by enough that Giannis doesn't also go A tier, if that makes sense. It's close. You could argue B at this point if you wanted to, but I don't think he's like that much worse than his Opal, but his Opal can play small forward, which really does elevate that card. But at the same time, he's still a usable power forward for sure. Still great defensively, still get some glitchy animations. I think A tier is probably fair at this point still. Gerald Wallace, I'm going to go B tier for Gerald. I'd rather have guys like Morrison and Connie, but I do think Gerald's a legitimately good card. I think he's a very solid defender. Jumper's nice, and he's super athletic. Like, he is still a really good card. Still got him B tier. LeBron's obviously S tier. I guess I'm having 3 small forwards on this list because I forgot LeBron is obviously considered a small forward as well. So you got LeBron as the best pink diamond small forward, and then Rudy and Terry are afterwards. LeBron's just so good defensively. Money jumper, incredible slasher, gets amazing animations, and yes, he only has 5 base Hall of Fame badges, but every single LeBron in the game at this point I think has at least like 20. But no, people just have every LeBron's so badged up at this point, it's hard to even consider his base card as the Bron that you're getting the vast majority of the time if you're using this pink diamond bronze. So he's an amazing card, and I think he's obviously S tier. I have T-Mac C tier, and I don't feel bad about it. His jumper is just not that good, and he doesn't have much by the way of movement at all. I think C tier is totally fair. He's just not that good. Caron Butler's going to slide into the B tier with guys like Eddie Jones and Kyle Korver. Nice jumper, decent defender, decent slasher, like solid all-around card. Nothing too insane though. I think B tier is fair. I'm going to give Drew Holiday A tier as well. A tier is going to be the biggest tier on this list, and that is totally fine. Elite level defender, decent-ish movement, nice fast jump shot. I like him. He's not a great slasher, but he doesn't need to be a really effective card still. I think Tim Thomas is terrible. His jumper's really bad this year. He's just so nerfed. His SIGs are terrible too, and he's just not good at all. Like, this card, there's almost no redeeming qualities to him. He's just not that good at all. Pedro Stojakovic is going to go B tier for me. Definitely very solid card. I mean, 6'10" with a money jump shot. He's good at everything, but not great at anything. I think kind of like Gerald Wallace, probably more fair to put him in the B tier than it would be to put him anywhere else. MJ is going to go D tier. Jumper's terrible. Doesn't have much by way of movement. He's just not good at all. His dark matter's legitimately solid with better SIGs and a jumper on very quick, but his pink diamond is terrible. Definitely D tier. And then I think KD is going to have to go in that B tier for me. I just don't think KD is on the same level at the small forward position as an Adam Morrison, Connie Hawkins, guys like that are in the A tier. So I think B tier with a guy like Joe Wallace is probably a fair spot for pink diamond KD at this point in this game. So with that being said, that is my list of the best pink diamonds in my team. Again, remember, I forgot Cade Cunningham. He should be S tier. That is my bad. But outside of that, I think it's a pretty good list. I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.